Hey guys, Brandon here from Airsoft 19. I'm sorry if the wind's buffering the camera, but I got a request to do a how-to paint or a tutorial on how to paint your airsoft gun, just like how I painted mine. So again, it is pretty windy, so I'm sorry if the wind's buffering the camera. But if you haven't seen my video on how the turnout of my sniper went, go ahead and watch that. So I don't have a gun to paint. I'm just gonna paint the suppressor for my gun. So what you'll need is, well, what I use is two different colors. I used like Rust-Oleum or whatever, camouflage. This is an OD green. And this is the same brand and everything, but this is more of a tan. So yeah, these are both like flat colors, so that's what I recommend. And then for the stencils, I got this from an actual tree. These are not fake. Just, I don't really know what these are called, but this is what I use. So if you find something like this, go ahead and use that. So it's a different shape than the gun, I guess, but we'll just go ahead and like call this like kind of like the barrel. So this is the suppressor for the gun. We're gonna go ahead and paint this. So the first step is just to pick a side and pick like a sunny day to do this so it dries quicker. This isn't necessarily a sunny day, but it'll get the job done. So the first step is just to pick any color, it doesn't really matter, and you're gonna paint the entire side. Here, let me try to zoom in real quick. There you go. You're gonna just paint one side, just only one color for now. Alright, so this is a flat color, so when it goes on it's going to be really shiny, but when it dries you'll know it's dry when it's more of a flat satin kind of look. So that's the first coat. We're going to do maybe one, maybe two more, and let it dry for a while, and we're going to go ahead and do the other side. Alright, we give enough time to let the first coat dry, and as you can see it's a very, very nice satin matte green kind of look, so we're just going to go ahead and put the second coat on. So we're going to let that dry, and that should do it for that side. Alright, so the second coat is nice and dry, so we're just going to flip this around. Make sure it's really dry to the touch so you don't mess up any of the paint. And we're just going to get it to the side that's still black, which would be right there. And we're going to put our first coat for this side on. I would recommend you do this on a day without any wind, so you could really predict where the paint's gonna land. But I'm just gonna go ahead and go with what I have. So we'll let that first coat dry for that side, and then we'll go for the second. Alright, so the first coat seemed to dry, and I don't really think the second coat's too necessary, but we're just gonna go ahead and do it just to match the rest of it. Okay, so we given it enough time to dry, and it looks like I got every part of it. It has a very, very nice flat green kind of look to it. So we're just going to go ahead and start doing the pattern. So for this I'm going to use the tan. Just make sure it's working. So this is when the stencils come in play, and again it's much more difficult to do this on a windy day because you can't really predict where it's going to land, but let's go ahead and try it anyways. We're going to go ahead and rest it right there, and we gave it a little bit of a leaf look right there, as you guys could see. So we're gonna keep on doing that throughout the entire thing, and try not to get too much of a certain color, kind of try to balance it out. So you just gotta go ahead and play around with it and make sure you like the look. So we're just gonna go ahead and keep painting. So the leaves look the same, so make sure, or if you use the same one, you're gonna see how those two look the same, so go ahead and change it up, what kind of, or which ones you're using. They're all the same kind of plant, but just different kind of shapes, you know. There we go. So as you can see, that one looks different than those two, so just make sure you're kind of changing every once in a while. We'll just break this one off right here. So that should kind of do it for now. We'll just let that one dry and we'll just do the rest on the other side. And then as you can see, if we finish it off like that, it's way too tan. Sorry if it's if the light's overexposing it. So I'm just gonna try to put my hand to put the shadow on it. So as you can see, it might be like overdone with some tan. So you kind of just need to balance it out with more green than tan and until you get that perfect amount. So we'll just let that dry and we'll be back. Okay, so the tan is fairly dry now, and one thing I didn't share with you is if you kind of want to get some tan on green and green on tan kind of thing, make sure you get your certain color. So as you can see, it was green, and now it's kind of going with the leaves being green and the rest being tan. So to change that up, we're just going to get a certain part of it and just make that certain part only tan. And then you're going to basically do what you just did, but with the green. So that might not make too much sense, but it will in just a second. Okay, so as you can see, we just painted this area tan. So we're just going to get this leaf here, and we're going to get green this time. So as you can see, it kind of balances out a little bit better. Let me try to put my hand to cast a shadow on it. So as you can see, we have green on tan and tan on green, so we kind of just shake it up a little bit. So that should do it for that side. We'll let that side dry, and we'll just get the other sides. Okay, so this side's fairly dry. We're not going to turn it on its side. We're just going to put it like that, just so we can start getting a little bit more. There we go. So again, we're just going to get the tan. So as you can see, it kind of looks like it's a little too tan, so we're going to get the green and we're going to just try to balance it out a little bit. There we go. So that should do it for those two sides. This is where you really want to be patient and let all of this dry. I'm going to try to put my shadow on it real quick so you could see, or the clouds could help me. So you really want to be patient letting this dry so you don't mess up the paint when you turn it upside down. And this is actually on the surface here. So let this dry for, if it's a really sunny day, 3 to 5 minutes. But just until you could really tell it's dry. Just make sure. Just be patient with this. Okay, so I went ahead and let that dry, and another reason you want to really be patient is because the longer or the more patient you are, and like the longer you let it dry, the less chance you have of chipping the paint or whatever. So as you can see, we got the majority of that side. We got that side, so we're just gonna go ahead and just keep rolling in increments, because this side right here is probably the most dry since we did that first. So just gonna go ahead and put it about right there. Should be good. And we're just gonna do the exact same process. We can get our tan. We get the tan again, but in a different stencil. And we're gonna make this majority right here tan. just so we could come back to that side with some green. There we go. So the goal is to just basically wherever you see more tan, to put a leaf there and spray green. Wherever you see more green, just put a leaf there and spray some more tan until you get a really good balance. I think we did pretty good here. I might want a little bit more tan back here. There we go. So just until you like the look of it, try to match with your rifle. And again, it's probably a little bit easier to do this with your rifle just so you can match it a little bit better, but we'll just go ahead and see how this turns out. One thing I just caught on is it seems pretty green right here, so we're just going to get a smaller stencil and put some tan there to match. There we go. Okay, so we went ahead and let that dry, so we're just going to put it on the different side. And one thing that you can do that I didn't really have any material though is you could just like put some kite string or fishing wire or whatever in midair and just slip the entire barrel through, so you don't really have to let it dry, and you could just paint it all in once, so it's never hitting the ground. But you could do it like this too. That'll be just fine. So we only have this much more space to work on. The majority of it is already kind of painted, so we're just gonna go ahead and work on that side. Okay. So the majority of it's green, so again, we're gonna get some tan. So as you can see, it's pretty tan. We're gonna put a little bit more tan there, just so we could come back with that with some green. There we go. So this is mainly just a trial and error kind of thing. As you can see, there's too much green here and green here. So just by trial and error, you know, you can just get a good balance for it. I'm gonna use some different stencils here. So we seem to have a pretty good balance there. Maybe a little tan here would do good. So once you find a pretty good balance, you just want to let it dry, and then you could just turn it around and double check. So I think that might just do it for now. So I'm just gonna grab the dry parts. So it seems like it all blends in pretty well. So that's basically how I painted my gun. Of course, if you're gonna be painting a gun like my sniper, you definitely want to mask off the bolt, or if you're doing an AG, the trigger assembly, and any mechanical parts, just make sure you kind of tape that off. Or any parts that you want black, go ahead and tape that off. But for a suppressor or a mag or whatever, or for anything that doesn't need too much masking, you can just go ahead and put it on a table. And main thing is just be patient with the drying. So I guess from here we're just going to put it on the gun and show you guys how it looks. Okay, so we've given the suppressor plenty of time to dry. And as you can see, it does a pretty good job matching the rest of the gun. So I used to have the PVC pipe that I painted on it, but I thought that was a little too much for the gun and didn't really look too well. So I think this does a better job at it. So anything new with the gun is just basically I added these rails on both sides, there and there. I put this camera mount on here so I could do some cool scope cam videos, and a laser that's not in the way of the scope, although it looks like it is, and I got it right on the crosshair. So that's basically just the gun update. But as far as how the suppressor turned out, matches the barrel and the rest of the gun fairly well. So that's how to paint the any kind of gun or whatever you want painted in that kind of color scheme, or in that camo scheme. And again, anything that you want black, just mask off, or any kind of bolt assembly that you want to protect, just make sure to mask that off. Or if you can disassemble it from the rest of the gun that you want painted, go ahead and do that. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.